So I'm going to say no praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Yahushua, the word of the apostles and elders of the Holy so on to the we are Hebrew Israelites coming out to meet one side of down for his kingdom, and of course for the prophecy written inside of the Holy Bible. Alright? Being appointed, as it's written in Jeremiah 28 and 8, as a mark of basically the downfall of the sinful kingdom. Alright? To basically usher in salvation via the world called Jesus Christ. Right? His true name is Yahweh Shai Mashiach. How? Mashiach. Meaning which is the Lashwan Kadash. Lashwan Kadash, the holy tongue. Right? The Hebrew otherwise known as Abaya, should I say. And basically Mashiach. Mashiach means anointed, the anointed, being his title. He is the anointed Savior, right, to save us from this captivity we're presently in. So, yeah, we're in the last days, and the Heavenly Father is magnifying his work in these last days. Different things are happening throughout the news. All these different events, whether it be with Donald Trump, tornadoes, catastrophic events, disease outbreak, all these things ain't just, coincidence. All these things ain't a coincidence. Alright, these things actually are, they're signs, tokens for the times we're headed into. Right, where you make to really say to yourself, wow, this shit is kind of crazy. This shit happening right now. You know what I mean? That's what's really meant to be going through people's minds. But for the most part, what's happening, that's not what's, prevalent in their mind. They're more so thinking about, the generic things that you do in life. And that's why, really, the prophet laid it out there in the book of Matthew 24. The Lord spoke about it, where he basically said that it shall be as in the days of Noah. Right? They were eating and drinking and giving them rich, and then Noah went up into the ark. So basically, you're going to have good times rolling till the time of the end. Right? And when we say good times rolling, we mean that, like, the quote unquote, normal things you do day to day, that's going to be at the forefront of people's minds. Throughout all the severity of things going on, all right, they're going to look for that, glimmer of hope that they can, etch their teeth into, hold on to, and keep walking down, that down the hill into destruction. Because really and truly, the destruction is going to be different key events that are going to happen. But through the thick of it all, people are still going to hold on to the beliefs that they have that this system will run forever. Right? So I don't know if you've got a scripture.
Yeah. I'm trying, I don't know.
Like, it's kind of like, it's weird. Because there's a way to say it, so it's like the brightness or whatever. It's correct. But I'm not sure where the set is on this, because it's not updated that's different. Okay. But Acts 9 and 26. And then Saul was come to Jerusalem. He essayed to join himself to the disciples, but they were all afraid of him and believed not that he was a disciple. But Barnabas took him and brought him to the apostles and declared unto them how he had seen the Lord in the way, that he had spoken to him, and how he had preached boldly at Damascus in the name of Yahweh Shai. For he was with them coming in and going out of Jerusalem, and he spake boldly in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, and disputed against the Grecians, but they went about to slay him. So yeah, the brothers going into the Hebrew, and I just wanted to touch on the name, because that's a key matter of importance. You need to be able to decipher the Hebrew to get to the root of the name. Because there was a name given by the angel Gabriel onto Joseph and Mary, but the name that was to be given to the child. And that name would have been in Hebrew. There would have been no J, So it could have been no Jesus. And they didn't speak Greek. So it wasn't Jesus. So for you to get to what that name is, you got to go into the Hebrew. That's why it's key to understand. And again, that name's Yahweh Shai. And that's the name that we come in. And just as I read, it said, but Barnabas took him and brought away. And he spake boldly in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai and disputed against the Grecians, but they went about to slay him. So yeah, he disputed against the Grecians. You know, he's having a back and forth, teaching in the name of Yahweh Shai boldly. Then what happened? They were looking to slay him. And that's what happened a lot of times, coming in the stead, in that spirit of Yahweh Shai, that brings up contention, man. People don't want to deal with that. People have an issue. That's the same thing with now. Now you basically have, it's somehow still a contention. The name you come in, you've still got guys where they're calling on, they're calling on Christ, calling on Jesus, which there's no way that name has anything to do. The man who was here 2,000 years ago. Again, because as I said, there was no J. If you're praying in that name, then you're talking to someone else. But that's how these things have been set. And it's basically what? A separation. You basically need it's that name is like an access key. You're trying to access somewhere. There might be a code on the door. You know, you might need ID. You might need some form of verification. That name is part of that verification. So you know you're communicating to the correct person. And that's what a lot of these guys are lacking.
Alessio aveva una villa.
Worship sweet. It's the book of Sirach 17 and 10, straight to the point. And the elect shall, actually let me read read into it, sorry. I'll read from verse 8. He set his eye upon their hearts that he might show them the greatness of his works. He gave them glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. And the elect shall praise his holy name. Right, so there's an elect to the Heavenly Father, which you had even Yad Sakari talking about. I did see the details, the fine out details. But speaking to, 2/3 being of another manner, right? But the 1/3, the elect are the elect, man. Dealing with 144,000, which is the governing body, the Heavenly Father. And then you also have, within that 1/3, you have other elects that ain't of the governing body, right? That believe basically, or like family members within, with family members of those who look for, alright? Whereby they're going to be saved as well, right? But the 2/3 really dealing with those in the land of America, right? Because it says 2 parts, Aaron shall be cut off and die, right? All the land, right? So they're going to be done away with. But the elect are basically going to be ambassadors, heralding in, the kingdom of heaven. And they're going to be doing it in the name of the Heavenly Father, just like Moses did. Right? When you see any of the brothers all over the globe, especially, starting in America, Babylon is Rain, they're basically been appointed by the Heavenly Father to go forth and bear his name in the same likeness as Moses did to Pharaoh. Right? That's why I told you in the book of Isaiah 13 that basically we should shake the hand until we enter into the gates of the nobles, sorry. Right? And we're doing it in the same stead that Moses did, where he went before Pharaoh and said, let my people go. Right? So that's what you're seeing. But the name is of great importance because the Lord, even when he broke it down to Moses, what did he say to him? When Moses spoke to the Lord, what did he say to him? He said, Lord, what name shall I say I come in? Then he broke it down and gave him his name. Right? Because Moses understood that it was of great importance. And that's how people in this day and age have been so dumbed down and stupefied. They don't realize the great importance of that name. But it's ironic because even in this day and age, people who choose their own name, they might have a birth name, then a lot of people go by nicknames, a lot of people might change their name, all those things. Those things are still a concept now. And that's why it's like, that's a matter of significance. But I'm going to read this off the back of yours. John 10:7. Then said Yahweh unto them again, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers. The sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come, that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth. And the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, I know my sheep, and I know mine. Yeah. So Yahweh has a direct relationship with the sheep. Those are of the elect, of that number that are known to him. They know it, which is why you can recognize what the name is. If you're gonna, bro, the name Jesus, that name is oh man. There's all sorts of people off in the world calling that name, man. And these guys out here gonna be saved. There's people calling that on that name before they do some legendary wickedness, man. And then when you deal with an image that's attached to that name, that's not the true image. It's like even you do a Google search for Yahweh Shai versus doing a Google search for Jesus, you're going to get two completely different images. And that's a key part. Hosea 3:4 for the children of Israel. I don't know why I said gasoline, petrol. Hosea 3:4 for the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. Yeah, without image was the key one I was thinking, because as far as for when you're dealing with Jacob, well now it's they're all split and splintered anyway. They've been split from when the time of Jeroboam, we had the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom split. But then even then, even amongst so-called now, they're going by terms like blacks, Native Americans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Brazilians. All these are complete other identities. Those are new names. Those are new things. And then underneath that identity, there doesn't lie any salvation. When you deal with black, the confusion of black is man. I can't remember. I was watching a video. I can't remember who it was. I think it was like someone was just talking about, oh yeah, the thing is this person black? Is that, saying like, oh yeah, his kids are black. Then it was like, he's talking about some light skin, super light skin. And I was like, this is the confusion. Is because of how the black term just is completely groundless. You're gonna be like, you're thinking of a color, or you're thinking of a skin tone, but then you're gonna have like, well, you might have, say you take a Jake, he gets with a white woman, his kid gets with a white woman. They might just look like a straight up white. But then you're gonna be like, you go through the line, you're like, oh no, wait, no, I guess it's black. But then that's why it's like that term doesn't, it's confusing.
Yeah, really what we're talking about is race. It's race and color.
Yeah.
They may
but then
somewhat
that's what,
align,
to some degree.
Yeah. But in terms of like race goes back to the word, or the Latin word raza, which means seed. Right, so your seed is your lineage. Like we're around across the road, you can't see it, but there's a part, the small part of the little garden basically. And there's all kinds of vegetation, trees and plants. Now those trees and plants, at one point in time they were a seed. Right, it was planted, whether it was a year ago, whether it was 10 years ago, maybe, or whether it was 100 years ago. It was planted at one point. But that seed came from another tree that was before it, right? Or another plant, or another form of vegetation. And that's the lineage where it belongs to the key underlying factor is it belongs to a race, the seed, right? And that's the same thing we're dealing with the word.
Now, as you said, it's a seed that's key, and that's really when you're dealing with nations. It's basically these go back to there'll be a man at the root of it, and then through that man's seed, that's where the nation comes about from. And then you go into Genesis, you have the table of nations where it gets into the different nations. But that's the thing I was going to say. You said it's color and race, but that's why you have something. Esau's hidden under the identity currently of the white race, which is even more confusing. But then it's also a play on your mind, because white is associated with positive, purity, positive aspects in this country. So then all those things get attached to it as well. But then the same thing with black, all the negative aspects of that life onto Jake as well. And then that basically is confusion as well. But then even that's something manifested, that the nature of the relationship between Jacob and Esau. That's really what's being represented there. Jacob and Esau, you go back to Genesis 25, the womb, they were contentious. There were war, there were fighting. And that's something that still continues till now. Now it's a fight that's basically taking place in the spiritual. It's basically the peak spiritual warfare happening on planet Earth right now. You got something? Yeah. No, you can, because I was where you I was going to kind of continue in Jeremiah 17:4, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. And yeah, but discontinue from our heritage, which was given unto us. And then that's funny because even with the black as well, that's something that was given onto Jake as well. When you deal with Jake, you had I'm like I could not for the life of me find the old remember you used to have an image of Hebrews for sale. Still I forgot. Are you still good?
That's one of those. I had it, I lost it.
It's got Google as well.
Yeah, because I had it on not the laptop, I had like the old laptop.
Yeah, bro, post it on YouTube as well. Like I've seen it a couple times. You know, YouTube like post.
Oh yeah. Because yeah, Hebrews for sale, but then what became Negroes for sale, and that's that new term that was applied. And as it said, you know, when you go to Deuteronomy 28, what's it say? Proverb and a byword. And that's been, you know, that proverb's been applied for the longest. When you go through like the so-called civil rights and whatnot, up to modern time, you know, you had Negroes and you had coloreds. Now it's black. Oh well, no, it was black. Now it's black folk. That's the new one. Black indigenous people of color. Well, people of color, then it became black folk. And then, you know, in another, if we're here for another 3-4 years, there'll be some new shit flying around. But then that's all of those are what? A new heritage. That's some new shit that's been given over. And you can see as well, because you have these movements like BLM, Black Panthers, all these so-called black liberation movements, they're all within ideology, some new shit in this world. They're not going back to being a Hebrew Israelite. That's not even been mentioned. And the thing is the scriptures might be involved, but then it's basically being used. It's that plantation Christianity. They're not telling you the truth of who. When you I remember reading the picture Bible growing up, and it was a bunch of white boys in there. But then you go in the scriptures, it's telling you contrary to it. You said you were reading. He's reading something. I think it's you thinking before that. That's what I'm saying. Because it was there.
It's the book of First Maccabees 3 and 48, and laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen had sought to paint likeness of their images. So right, you had Vladimir Putin basically come out recently, just a little while ago, and show that the children of the Russian icons, something that we've known about for a very long time, right? Starting with High Priest Ariel. He's always pull out that book from what I've seen in the video, right? And various other members of the church going back to One West. Basically, that's, you know, a big deal, right? It's something that we know, but now it's something that, you know, a world leader presented before the faces of everyone on the face of the earth. But guess what? That's something that's gonna go over their heads, all right? Because it's only when you see, when you're in the know, you can do because basically, Vladimir, when you put all the things together, when you're in the know, you can see the various different details and put them together to make an image, right? To basically, you know, connect the pieces of the puzzle to get the image that's required. But with most people in this day and age, they don't do that. They're just like, oh, that's interesting. But more so than anything, they don't like Vladimir. Right? I don't like Black Putin. And me, like us, he serves a meaning as far as prophetically. You know, we're indifferent. He's an Edomite, he's gonna get taken out, man. That's what he is. He ain't gonna be saved.
He's just doing what the Heavenly Father put the Spirit on it. Just like all the other leaders that you read inside of the Bible, right? Whether they were for us or against us, they still stand for the judgment that the Heavenly Father is pointing unto. All right. So a man like Vlad, all right, Putin, is basically due to get, his just desserts. But what he did bring out was, further proof that the true image of the people in the Bible are that so-called black people, right? So-called Native Americans, so-called West Indians, right? And even now you had this week, you had a St. George's Day, all right, at the beginning of the week. Now you had all the nationalists basically saying, I overheard some people say, they don't celebrate it, they don't talk about it, really this grunt of working class individuals that don't feel like they have a place in life, right? But the reality is they'll probably have a heart attack if they did come face to face with, as they call him, St. George, all right? Because the origin really of that was Turkey, man. And really, if you know anything about Turkey, going back to that period of the saints and the people that liked it, right? That was during the time of Constantine, all right? Well, he's the predecessor, all right? And everything that followed afterwards was basically of the same likeness, okay? Because you gotta remember there was a thing known as the Roman Empire. I know you people know about the Roman Empire, the Greco-Roman Empire. Now the thing with that, you had it at one point after the Flavian dynasty. Basically, you had Jake come in there, right? When I say Jake, I mean Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Basically, got up in the empire, and then it never was the same again, right? That was the beginning. That was the end of the Edomite rule over that kingdom, right? And then after that, led on to what the Holy Roman Empire, right? Split, whereby ultimately it moved on to they moved the capital city from Rome to that of where? Constantinople, right? And it had the main language then went from Latin to Greek, right? And that was because the people that established it being, during that time as the main language being Greek weren't Israelites, right? Because Greek was something that they held to, quite dearly throughout the whole time. We can go into the Bible, many a precept that will back up that point and make it, full fact of what's being said, all right? But they held on to that language, and then they went on to establish the Holy Roman Empire, all right? Whereby as well, remember, the Roman Empire was what? A pagan form of rulership, all right? They had the gods, they had, philosophy, all gods, yeah. Theo was God, and Pan being an all. So they had a worship of all gods. So they had the gods of different things, Dionysus. Well, same with the Greeks and whatnot. But that was more the helm of what they were doing. But Christianity was adopted during that time, all right, and basically colored the culture of their pagan worship. That's why you have Christmas Day. You had these different things that they basically took on, with spring, Easter, and all these different things, and they colored it with Christianity, all right. But the point being is that those people were Israelites, all right. They were Israelites. So these people that want to worship the St. George Day, the Union Jack, and things of this nature, they don't even realize all these things speak to Jake, man. It's a heritage that don't belong to them. But then that's the same with Rome. The original Romans, they were Polynesian nations. Polynesians, man. Trust me. They were the original Romans when you deal with the Republic of Rome. Right? Remulus. Yeah. But that's those origins, that was to someone else. But then I read it earlier, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. When you deal with this current system, this current enterprise that's been established, it's really what's it called? A patchwork of a bunch of different, former kingdoms, then it's basically been given, blessings and certain wisdoms to push them to basically fulfill what they need to do. For example, with what do you call it? For World War One, there was planes and whatnot flight, and even for like World War Two, and then for like the Cold War afterwards, submarines, missiles, artillery, what do you call it? Rockets or missiles, missile technology, atomic technology, all these things were necessary to basically get what you need in the end game. Because Esau's going to bear the rule. Esau's basically giving it this. You go into Revelation 20. There was that time that what the beast needs to be loose for a little season. And then everything's going to come to an end. And we're in the midst of that little season. But then it's the same thing that happened with Nebuchadnezzar, where he got the rule, he was raised up, he got completely puffed up in pride. And that's what happens. These guys receive, they get raised up on a certain level. Then they start feeling themselves.
Yeah, what happened to Israel, man? Just one whack fat kicked. Really, what's the word, comfort. I know they've been saying it's escaping me right now, but basic comfort, it just shows. Yeah, that's the phrase. But basic comfort is a thing that really is deceiving, right? You think that, everything's going to be good. That's what you want. Even a good statement is that, weak men make hard times make strong men. Sorry, hard times make strong men make good times. So that's basically, that's how it goes. And the time that we're in right now is the time to suffer. What? Right?
You can see, like, given how soft this has gotten, all the things that manifest, underneath that system. Because the thing is, even though the men are soft, they still, police is still out there enforcing the law. It's not even like, it's really like the bulk of the populace are the ones that suffer. But then you still have militaries, you still have armies, you still have various things happening. But then it's like the minds of the people, and basically swaying the people becomes far easier. And then even with women gaining dominion, that's in the scriptures. And you can see that's something that's manifest. You got women, even when you talk about head of state, you had the Italian broad that came in like last year, I believe it was. That everyone was up in uproar about. You've done had what's the German bitch again? The fuck, Angela Merkel. And then even in the UK, you had Theresa May. You had what the hell's the other one? That came after for like 5 minutes. Liz Truss. It's funny. She released a book. I went into Waterstones. She released a book called How to Save the West. I was like, if you were so glued in on how to save the West, why the hell was that? She came in for 5 minutes and then skedaddled. But obviously, it's the spirit anyway. It's called How to Save the West, because anyone looking from the outside, they might think, and like the brother said, comfort is deceitful. Comfort is deceitful. Because you're at ease doesn't mean everything's all good. And as most people have a degree of comfort that they find, manageable, they're kind of in the mindset where they're like, oh, everything's kind of going well. They're not really looking at things on the long term. A good example is you go to the Roaring 20s, which now is what, 100 years ago? 100 years ago from now, you had the Roaring 20s, which were called the Roaring 20s because people were living it up, man.
People had an abundance of wealth. Shit was looking very good, especially in America. People were doing all kinds of wealth.
One of a good character, you know, a fictional character to break it. That's it.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to see encapsulation of that, you can just watch the Great Gatsby film.
That's where you even get like Tiffany green, you know, like that whole color. Yeah, that green, that form of opulence comes from that period.
Yeah.
Like a lot of English, like you know, like the tropes of, you know, class, England, you know, it comes from that more or less generation. That was that last hurrah. One of the last hurrahs was opulence within, you know, United Kingdom. And even when you read it, even America as well.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the architecture, the design, the kind of dress sense, things like that. It's a throwback to that period.
The thing is, because of how the lifestyle was, the thing is now is like people will wear things or kind of dress for things, but then it'll be something that's not really, it doesn't reflect on where they actually are in life. There'll be people that'll be flat broke, but they don't make sure they got the latest designer, etc. or whatever. They might be, you know, living to get all these different deals for the latest designer, the latest in-season slogan, fashion, but then like lifestyle-wise, they're not amongst that you know, that strata of existence. Going back to the 20s back then, there were people that were living that lifestyle, which is why they had the opulence. They would have come. There were certain people that would have come from families where they wouldn't even have to work. They would have probably just been like, yo, okay, you just come in, whatever, you're a vice president in or whatever they called it back then in their father's company. It might be like a shipping company, might have been tied to the railroads. They might have been developed military technology. They might have, I think he overtook it. They might, you know, and then they would have been nice for that time, where they would have been able to go out. That was even the Great Gatsby was based around what do you call it? The main character, Tom, I think his name was, where it was played by Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire. He was in finance. What was it? What they call it? The Wall Street guys. Yeah, it was I believe it was a stockbroker. And that was a big way of how he just came in. He didn't know shit, and he was going there making money stockbroking. Then he ended up rubbing shoulders, and then he just had a relative that was from those established, you know, those established family lines would have been like, oh, you, what was the surname? I can't remember, but his surname was one of, there were established families back then in America. Then in the UK, it would have been even more so, because there's nobility amongst the UK. So you would have had dukes, you would have barons, you would have all those people, where they would have had wealth to a certain extent. They would have had that heritage. So they would, all those different parts of their lifestyle would have been black. Let me read this. Second Ezra 16:21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And yeah, there was that time where everything was cheap. There's an article that I remember the brother brings it out from time to time on one of the top chicken suppliers in the UK, saying like the time of cheap chicken has come to an end. And that's just for like one main food staple in the country. There's basically everything has been hit by inflation. You have the minimum wage go up in our country to I think just below £12. I think $11.99 or $11.91, something like that. And the price of everything's gone up. It's why people have more wages to pay, rent's got more expensive, all these things are inflating. And it's, you know, it's not ease. That time, and that again, there was that period of time where people thought everything was a bless up. They thought it was all good. They thought everything was going smooth. They were living their life. They were able to go on a holiday. They were working. They were doing whatever. They were going out. They would enjoy happy hour after work, and then yeah, go home, chill, watch some Netflix. And Netflix was dirt cheap back then, and it had everything on it. Yeah. But now we're in a time where what those things are now in the what's it called? The thingy mirror. What's the mirror called? The middle one. There's a saying. Now it's in your
rear mirror.
yeah, in the mirror. Yeah, rear view. Now it's in the rear view mirror. Those good times are done, man. Now everyone knows what cares about inflation. That's why people are like, yo, we need labor. Last time labor were in, man had the magic money house. They had the magic money. But then even if labor coming now, this shit, bro, it's a wrap.
It's the book of Proverbs 16:4. The Lord Yahweh made his thing for himself. He ain't even the wicked for the day of evil. Yeah, so right now we're in where the Heavenly Father is manifesting being that day of evil. Right? The things you're seeing unraveled before our eyes are that of an evil time. Right? And the word evil even means evil. It means a bad time. Right? Evil meaning time, and ill meaning, bad. Right? So this is the time we're in. Now, it may be like, this is the thing that a lot of people fail to actually recognize. This man is deceiving, right? His whole game is to make you, to lull you to sleep, right? To pull over your eyes, pull a fast one on you, right? So it's to, put you into a full sense of comfort, to the point where any endeavor they want to do to take advantage of you, you feel like there's some advantage for you as well. Like right now, I'm dealing with NI, with the tax that happened with the NI thing, and also dealing with the UK, right? And also the minimum wage going up, different things of that nature. These things are meant to make people feel like, yeah, man, I'm making more money, I'm doing a bit better, in spite of the fact that you're dealing with inflation, shrinkflation, all forms of different forms of inflation that come, all right? And you're basically a toad or a frog inside of a hot water pot, simmering to a boil, to the point where you're gonna die in the heat of it. All right, and that's what we're basically dealing with. That way, the temple is there, so maybe that way.
What was I thinking? Alright. Second Peter 3, 3 says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, looking after their lusts, and saying, where is the promise that is coming? since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. Yeah, like the prophet said, the wicked was made for the day of evil. When you deal with the day, that's all that this kingdom was established for. People right now, it's, what was it, Micah 2:10? This place is not our rest. As far as for Israelites, you know, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, then there's no business at all. You have no business being at rest in this place. Even attempting to is to your detriment. And that's really clear because as far as for these, you know, for Jacob, when they're out there, there's all kinds of issues. They have continued to exist within this system, man. Especially when you're in the Western world, it's evident and clear. There's no place for you amongst them. But then what? Jacob basically trying to carve that out. Just as with the heathen before, there's always been that relationship where Esau's trying to, you know, receive the love of the heathen. They're basically trying to, you know, graft themselves onto the gods of the heathen or the lifestyle of the heathen, and that's the same thing happening now. The brother mentioned like, oh, the Greek came back in the Roman Empire when Jake took over, because Jake had that, you know, attachment to Greece. And yeah, it's the same thing with now. Now, you know, you basically got Jake, when they're caught up in the system, you know, they're investors. They feel like they're part of the Western world. But then what's the reality? The reality of it is there's no place here for us. This place was made as a prison camp. It was there, it was and kindling.
Signed by America.
Whoa, yeah. I was thinking about America, but I said, yeah. Should have been clearer. But yeah, America is basically a prison camp.
When you say this place, man.
Yeah. I was thinking of it. I was thinking about that. But yeah, America is basically made as a prison camp and kindling for the fire.
Or you could say spot.
Yeah. Because within is basically a place where what Jake was taken over for both the northern and southern kingdom to be oppressed together. Those prophecies needed to be fulfilled. And when you come to now, what do you have? You have prophecies being fulfilled. When you deal with the situation in the Middle East, who's like the key external interests are really America and their allies, and then Russia and their allies, which Iran's the key Russian ally, then the state of Israel is a key American ally. And that basically is you know, the lines being drawn for World War III. Even then, all those are now allies of America, they're going to flip anyway. They're going to turn and you know, hate the whore and burn it with fire. Because why? It's all about prophecy. That's what this place is about. People right now, you know, they might be thinking about the, you know, the Apple Vision or Neuralink. There's people where they're like, oh yeah, you know, in 5, 10, whatever years, you know, Neuralink's going to be able to do this. They're thinking about, you know, some grand future. But in reality, this place is prophecies to fulfill. Well, this start of America, this rulership that Esau's established as prophecies to fulfill, then it's done, man. It's time's up. It says what, verse 5. But this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and earth which are now, by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire, against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So yeah, the kingdom, rulership now, the heavens and the earth. This current kingdom is reserved for fire, man, for judgment. That's really what we're seeing. That's what we're interacting with. When you deal with these kingdoms, This whole system's way of dealing with money. You can see it's basically like like a bag with holes in it. There's leaks everywhere. It's completely unjust. You're dealing with scales where it's like the weight. You place it on the scale, and then half of the weight is ripping out at the side of it before you even get to scale how much worth it has. The whole monetary system is basically built of confusion and people being unaware of how it works. Most people know is they got to get a mortgage and they got to have a bank account and they got to have some credit cards. Otherwise they can't function. And then when it comes to how this kingdom is ruled, people will say, democracy is the greatest system of rule because under a monarchy, the king could just do what he wanted, or under these other systems, then it was the people didn't have a say. You say that, but then what? How does this democracy actually play out? You got two sides, and they decide whatever the fuck they want to do, and then you got to pick. You basically get to pick between them. And then even then, on all the big matters, these guys are in accord. When you deal with military action, which is one of the biggest things. I remember Labour was in power during the Iraq War. That was Tony Blair. These guys are talking about Labour, like Labour's going to save the day. Labour was in power. It was Tony Blair, man. The God Emperor for something. We talk to some of these jakes. The way they talk about Tony Blair is like he's an anointed saint, man. But that was the guy that started the Iraq War. The people were protesting for non-stop. So Labour wasn't even in power anymore. Because why? When it comes to as far as the big decisions, these guys were in accord. When the Serbians came in, they didn't come in and be like, "No, let's end this war." But it's part of the deceit. Because that's how Esau rules, man, by deception, from the shadows. He doesn't have everything just clearly broadcast. These things are done behind closed doors. People are given, something easy to consume, to chew on, to think about. But then when they think of, what really goes on, they're not too clued in. And it's funny because you've had time and again, all these different scandals coming out, and all these scandals you had whistleblowers come out years before. It's funny, you've still got what's his name? Assange. William Assange. So Julian, I don't know why I call him William every time. Julian Assange. That guy was what? He was revealing things that people weren't meant to be clued in on, man, or aware of. But then what? That's something, and that guy is they're still looking to take that guy, put him in Guantanamo, rip his arms out of his sockets, pull every one of his toenails on, staple them to his forehead. They're looking to decimate this guy, man. They want to hang this guy upside down over a pit of scorpions, man. For what he brought out. It's the same thing for what Edward Snowden. That guy's a fucking record. So otherwise, if he went anywhere else, he'd be toast. This guy, Julian Assange, was chilling with the Ecuadorians. Them guys were meant to, they were like, yeah, they were going to cover him. Then it was like, nah. They let like the British police come in. Which, if there's no agreement before, that's like an international incident. That's like an act of war. What the fuck is read this?
Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the father. So basically, the political system is taking the hell to, by design, systematically, the children of Israel have been decimated, right? The family unit, which is at the core of any nation, right? The family has basically been decimated, right? By taking the fathers out of the household and basically moving all power into the hands of women, right? Women are designed to lead the family and that sets you see from the things that happen to our people, right?
They guide the house.
And that's what I was about to say. They're meant to guide the house, which is the role that facilitates the father, which is the ruler of the household. So hopefully he's the one that's distributing that power onto them, right? Because he's really meant to get into that role and do a due diligence to ensure that children she's cultivating in the household are going to be upstanding citizens within the society. Right, but that's going right. That's going to, going to lessen, But that's by design, right? This man is basically Douglas.
Isaiah 30:1. Woe to rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, the walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked of my mouth, to strengthen themselves, to strengthen Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Yeah, the new Egypt, the new son of the new Egypt, that's dealing with America. That's been the heart of this new enterprise, this new system of rule. Because over there you had women's liberation take place. Now something basically, supposedly freed the women. Let them out of the kitchen, let them out of the house. To what? To go and be corporate slaves.
It's taking them from their husband's house to their boss's house.
To the states, essentially. Because they essentially just become part of the system, yeah. They're just a new form of cash money. But then that's dealing with Jake, like the brother said, the household is meant to be the bedroom. So with that being crumbled, it seems the long-term decay of that household. Whereas, the thing is the heritage is done too. So these guys are trying to build up underneath the black identity, which is no identity anyway, and they're trying to build on a house where it's at any point, the woman could just decide, now I'm done, and then fuck off for the kids, and then you'll stop paying, and then you ain't got a woman, she's getting stiffed in by some next dude, and then this guy's eating your kid's Rice Krispies, man, slapping him on the head, like what's
Drinking his crap or something.
but that's
What's crap?
But that's the system as it is now. This is the so-called, the new righteous, just way that Esau's supposed to establish. But then what? There are people that cling and hold on to that, man. You guys, it's like these women's talk shows and whatnot. These podcasts women exposing themselves legendarily, man. You'll see clips of women talking about things, but they're just, the way they're living their life is basically indulging all their worst urges. And that's just society at large. Most people are basically living lives where they're just they're completely succumbing to their baser desires. They're vices. And there was a clip I saw, I don't even know the context of it. It was like live TV, and then there was like there was I don't know, the TV host or whatever behind them. There was some geezer, like some grown man standing behind some like I don't know, maybe 11, 12-year-old youth. Then he just like kisses up with his cheek, then bites his ear. And I was just like, bro, I was like, it was on live TV. I think, well, shit was fucking insane. So I saw it, and I was just like, I was like, bro, this guy needs to be found in addiction 2 days, bro. What the hell is going on? I have a I don't even know if I can be on time. Yeah, that's show me there, right? It's not, well, I was going to show you the receipt. It's one of those where it's like, what's up with this? Bro, that's what I'm just like. Apparently he's on the run. That's what he should be. Funny, let me not put on the camera. But that's the thing. It's this system is basically, you know, and the thing is as well. The other thing is that whole system, that system of how society is built. That's been done for thousands of years. This shit's been around since the 60s, which is what, like 60 odd years. Around 60 odd years, and society's not even, it's done. Like it's a wrap. Like it's anyone doing any kind of measure of it to see has it succeeded or failed, would say it's failed on a grand scale. It's to the point where that's something that philosophy's gone around the world, man. Everyone's drunk that wine. What's going on? Everyone's birth rates are plummeting, except for these so-called third world countries, where they don't deal with that new shit, or they have to a much less degree. But then when you deal with the so-called first world, as they refer to it, it's basically destroying the foundation of the family. So you think, like, imagine that's 60 years. Like, how much, what if it was to go for what, another 10, 20, 30?
The Lord said it, there'll be no flesh left.
Yeah. And the stupidity of it is like, it's necessary for people to continue to exist. That, oh yeah, one more verse. It says, Isaiah 33, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Yeah, that's one of the main things to come out of this. Pure confusion. Now you in the remote last would be like 10 years, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 years. Like 2015, 2016, you've had the whole LGBT plus movement happening. And then it's gone, like, I think they did a measure, it's like the people that found themselves in LGBT was like less as a percentage, less than percentage overall. And when you go to the younger generations, like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, it's like 20% that identify as that, which is complete madness. But the thing is if that was something natural, why was it that, you know, before this got pushed, it was like nigh on barely existing, but now it's being pushed. The younger generation, like it's 1 in 5. You're gonna go to 1 in 5, and they're gonna be telling you, yeah, I'm sexually attracted to, you know, women in dog suits.
This is the book of First Maccabees 1 and 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed, according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters and messengers unto Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, and cities of Judah, and they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, sacrifice swine flesh and unclean meats. And they should also leave their children uncircumcised. Alright, so hey, that even shows you a big deal. Back then, when I had a conversation about it, something happened to me. But that was a big deal, right? One of the main things, right, that, was kept with the Heavenly Father, and that he was to make sure that our people are uncircumcised, right? The law goes is that we're meant to be circumcised on the 8th day. After you come out of the womb, you're meant to be circumcised on the 8th day. You can never say, oh, I'm too old now. Nah, nigga. Abraham was 100 years old, 99, 100 years old when he got his forces and he goes through. Unless you're 101, 101 years old, or, and I'm being, sarcastic when I'm saying, right? There's no way, that's the law. You find out tomorrow you're an Israelite, you're on your deathbed. I mean, I'm not going to go that far. but what I'm saying is, as a joke, people might take that too seriously. But basically, it's a thing where you're meant to get circumcised. That's what it is. Yeah. But now there was an imposition made as far as in the book of Acts, but dealing with the Israelites, there was someone that came up and said that if you want to believe in the Lord, you have to be circumcised. Acts 15, that was chapter, I can't remember the date. But basically, that's where it happened. And there was a council that took place. But even still, you had to circumcise Timothy immediately because of the basically for the sake of the Jews. So they had nothing to say against Timothy for the fact that what his father was a Greek. Right? To show that he has a real calling, right? A real cool to the Heavenly Father, right? By keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. But it was broken down to ultimately, to basically, not when you first come in, to keep the Sabbath, not eat things that to idols, and I forget the other one. And I believe it's adultery as well. I can't remember the three basic kind of cornerstones to, markers that from the day you come in, don't do these. And then, but it doesn't say that, okay, you can stay like that for 5-10 years. No. It sets a precedent going forward that you're meant to keep doing these things and get more, hampered down in terms of like the law and get more serious about it. Right? Romans or Acts. I think it might be Thessalonians or Colossians or this is open to God.
Acts 21, 25, as touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols, and from blood, and from strangling, and from fornication. Then Paul took the next...
so I got it wrong. I said Sabbath, and I was thinking that when I said it. So it says, judge no man. Right. But that's why that's a good point. That's why if someone comes into faith the Lord, the first thing we're going to tell them is that, look, don't keep Passover, don't do nothing, because you really got to be right to do that. right? Call yourself keeping the Passover and make a, mockery of it. Season the meat, butter the bread, or whatever you make it, right? That's why you actually have to really understand what you think. It tells you that in the parable, the Lord here, building a tower, house. It says first you rise to war. You need to really sit down and say, can I afford to do it? Am I prepared? And I remember when I first came into the faith, there was a brother that's no longer in the truth. He basically see me coming up to the campus and was like, "Oh, we should join the campus." I remember I went away that whole week. That whole week I was going back and forth to mine. Do I want to join? Should I join? Like real, it was a deal breaker basically. Because I was like, no, it's like I've been looking for it. Right? I remember before, even a place where I hopefully took hold of the truth, that's where I was going up and down looking for the truth. Right? So ultimately when I did get it, that's when it was like, I had to take it. Alright? And that's why ultimately it's a process. You can't just jump in head first and think you're gonna get it. You need to really take your time and really, kind of understand what you're in. And then with that same kind of prudence, it tells you, wise man, when it's one way. But that level of prudence, you kind of know if anything happens, you may, things that happen that I feel emotional about, I feel like, it didn't happen like that. That's not how it went. But I got to step back and kind of be like, what? That's what it is. I don't know why it went like that. That's how it's going to go. That's how it's going. It may be because, I'm wicked or because this has to happen or whatever. You don't know. Right? And that's why you have to get out of mind with everything. Right? So, I'm saying because I'm looking about like in my mind, I'm keeping issues like, why you saying I didn't mean it like that? Your conscience is like, fuck you saying? But, those kind of things is like one of those kind of things where you got to take your time and build yourself up in the faith to really take hold of the faith. What you got?
Sirach 2 and 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in a time of trouble. Yeah, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy heart for temptation. Essentially, you got to aware of what is you're partaking in. And then part of that is once you come in, you're basically going to be held to a certain standard. And that's why it's if you're going to be, like the brother said, with the Pesach, if you're going to be keeping the Passover, then there's a certain standard that needs to be hit. It's like let you catch yourself saying, like, okay, I'm going to go out. Saying you're going to go out and teach. If you spring up and say like, yo, you're just going to go out and teach. Then you need to ensure that you basically teach it correctly. Or even if you basically, that's something you should be doing at that stage, man. If you just come in like 2-3 weeks ago, then, you're going to go out. You could be going out there throwing out 10, 11. So there's a process to it. You're basically meant to build yourself up over, through the course of time, and then get, hit those levels as they come. Because even as you get deeper in, those temptations, those hells, those hardships that are tied to them intensify as well. And if you've not built yourself, not solidified yourself enough, then when those things come, it will be a hardship. You're going to overburden yourself.
1 and 14. But they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation. Profanation. Alright? So basically that, being uncircumcised, unclean basically. Right? And, other things that, ain't mentioned. It's funny because there was a story I see where it said a guy had sharp pains in his penis and he basically, stones fell out. And he basically found out it was nope, it was smeg that basically has been, it was smeg that basically has been there over his whole lifetime.
Is that a cave troll? Like, what was he dealing with?
Over his whole lifetime, basically he said no one taught him how to clean his forces. So that's why he had it in it. And it was like a jar full of like just stones. Like a copper.
That's calcified.
Yeah,
like, bro.
Guys feel it's calcified, sweat, smeg, excess penis, excess urine. And that's probably like 3 times as well.
Bro, if that guy had sex with anyone, they are dead.
And he said the reason why it was he hasn't had sex with his missus in a long time. So at one point she probably would have, he would have been erect or whatever. He would have got mouth.
Sure, bro.
Sure, yeah. So, but the point being, that's the part of the point here. I'm just saying it's like, that's the law. It's the law, man. Because even really when you got to deal with this, that was something that was designated to the children of Israel going back to Abraham before the birth of Jacob, before the birth of Isaac. Right? It was made known and that was a covenant. That was a token for the covenant of the circumcision. Yeah, it's a circumcision. But a covenant between the children of Israel and the Heavenly Father. Alright? So that's something that was only meant to pride ourselves. Now I can't speak to knowing the fucking level of pain you will go through as a grown man getting that done. Alright? Because I know there's brothers, we spoke about it. Yeah, and they told us how uncomfortable for like a few days or so until it's like a week plus. Yeah. So I could understand that. But when you're born like that, it's kind of like it's where it is. That's the way it is. Now if you choose not to, story that really shows the point that with Sephora and Moses' son, right? They basically were circumcised. I couldn't do a video on it. The story, the context of it happened was prior to when they were leaving Jethro's house and going back to the children of Israel. That's where it goes back to. So right when they left, right, on the way to go to the children of Israel, that's when the angel met him in a way and was going to kill Moses. But it was Zipporah to quickly circumcise her son and threw the foreskin at, the feet of Moses. And she was, visiting, I guess, for something he probably knew, because she said to him that you're a bloody husband. So I guess she was the one that was kind of holding on and said, I don't want to really get circumcised. You know what I mean? Then she saw the severity of it. Yeah. So
more likely than not.
Yeah. Even though I believe Gideon is the descendant of Abraham, more so he would have took on that right would have really been on the children, Isaac, or the thing that happened for Isaac's sake. You know what I mean? So we would have got the real crux of it, everything that pertains to circumcision. You would have really got the understanding of the foundation of God. The point being is that, that was on the way to the children of Israel. That speaks to the circumcision coming together. Right? The covenant between the Heavenly Father and the children. Both of them go there in rest. But the point being is this thing is very important because like the most things did to his children, only would have cost him his life. So reading on it says in verse 39, for the end they might forget the law and changed all the ordinance. Right, so the reason why these things were done by Antiochus is to the point that we would forget who we are. Right, because that culture and customs that the Heavenly Father gave us was gonna be our molding, our shaping. Right, the word culture. You have something called yoga, right? And they say it has live cultures in it. How do those live cultures come about? By a process of basically fermenting. What's that word? Fermentation, right? It was cultivated to become, yoga, right? So that's why it has a live culture. And it's the same thing for us to be cultivated into a certain form of people. There's a culture we have to have, right? So that's the need as to why we have these customs, set upon us. Right, so really. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. Right, and that was basically the custom. That was, and this is the only time it's going to happen again. Right, whereby the powers that be are going to make it as to where, listen, it's get down or lay down. If you don't get in accordance with what we're dealing with, and you don't subscribe to our laws and our statutes, our commandments, guess what? We're going to get you up out of the way. Alright? That's what's going to go down. So that's going to call for you now to really stand on 10 toes, as they say. Be 10 toes down and really show your gumption. Alright? Whether you really are for the truth or against it. Because really ain't shit out here for us anyway, man. Alright? What we stand to obtain is that a great kingdom and are establishing in the world in our correct position. Right, but the way things are right now, it's really, if you want to get down with this, they want to give you a Bentley, right? That Bentley flying spur is real nice. I mean, like, podcast, quick to microwave, next guy flying spur, Maybach, a G-Wagon, all them big ways, kind of, up there kind of cars. But if you told me that or the Heavenly Father, the car, anything can happen to that car tomorrow. The Heavenly Father find out who owns it, what that car is. Alright, man. I'm gonna make you die. That's gonna be a car that's gonna die. Yeah.
The whole video just like,
Right,
it's a car. All kinds of fine, shining, sparkling. That shit gets struck by lightning, it's toast.
Act of God.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
you're
that was your
uninsured
insurance.
against.
Yeah, your insurance wouldn't even cover that. He knows. It's like, the man was just like, done.
So that speaks to the, if you really understand the nature, of the Heavenly Father, you really, you know where you should be putting investing your money in. Right? You should put your money into the Word. Alright? Let me read that.
Okay, yeah. Deuteronomy 26 and 18, it says, "And the Lord Yahweh hath avouched this day to be his peculiar people, as he hath promised thee, and that thou shouldest keep all his commandments, and to make thee high above all nations, which he hath made in praise and in name and in honor, and that thou mayest be the holy people unto the Lord thy Yahweh thy power, as he hath spoken." So yes, through those statutes, through those commandments, that's essentially what is part of what separates us and makes us holy from the other nations. That's the thing, is those customs that we keep, that whole lifestyle, the high holy days, the laws we keep, all these things, that's baked into being an Israelite. And then that's basically necessary to have that connection with Yahweh Hashem and Hashem, Hashem Makar. So, and that's the thing is if you're not keeping to those customs, then you're basically lacking on your side. But latter part, it's not something obviously you come in and then you're going to be expected to, you're going to be held to the highest standard. But it's something that should be a process as soon as you come in. And then again, it's something that you will understand more and more the more you get into the scriptures. It's necessary. Especially in this place now. Now the commandments everyone's following out here is what do as thou wilt. That's the baseline of how people live and exist now. This is what you have. You have like all kinds of different nations, customs, and lifestyles of people just in a big globe, living next to each other, mixing and matching. You in school, you'll have all kinds of different nations and beliefs and whatnot, all mixing together. And that's confusing. The whole point is, and that's the thing is, going back to the we were talking about the Greeks, the pantheon, all gods. That was basically, that's been how the heathen have dealt with from the beginning. Just having all these different gods, all these different forms of worship is there. The point of what separated Israel was what? What separated Israel was that we had one power. We were like, yo, we're only keeping to our power. Everyone else is trying to get up in the mix with everything else. But then what makes us separate, those are the things that you can be clinging to. Because even now, it's like for you, you say, oh, you don't let man, there's so-called Muslims, they say they call themselves following their customs. They might say, oh, they don't eat pork. But then these guys will be bagging white girls, smoking weed, doing all forms of drugs. What? No, I don't want to. No, it's finger garbage. I don't want to. Because then they're going to say, yeah. But listen, man, I don't discriminate. If they see me white, yo, don't, it wasn't even specific. Yeah, I'm saying, I was thinking about someone in particular. Now you're going to make it someone to the fifth. Yeah, I'm an Israelite, earth is my playground. Okay, for us, we're really, everything out there, our toys, holy. That's the reality. But I know what you're saying. I just like to qualify. Yeah, people watching and it's not about the white girls. They're override. Their whole customs and whatnot they're meant to be holding a certain standard of their own standard they don't even teach. I'm trying to see a white girl speak. As long as we get out of the road, and she's cool as well. So I was just like, go and see me, all right. It's already hot because black girls are looking at me like, it's one of the good ones. I'm trying to yeah, that's these guys esteem themselves Ramadan, the whole ends knows that these men are on Ramadan. Everyone's like, oh, these men are going. You see them, front flipping and cartwheeling through crowds to make their prayers 5 times a day. You see them like dash up. These guys are up at 4 a.m. feasting, waking you up in the dead of night. But then what? When it comes to it, they the rest of the year you don't have these guys. These guys will be drug dealers, man, and murderers. But they catch themselves saying like, all those Islamic buzzwords. But that's again, when we're coming to Israel, hey, we're to the best of our capabilities keeping these laws, man. Yeah, actually, it's like within this system, there's certain things you can't do, even the Passover. I saw something, there was a news article, maybe it was this week or last week, where it was like some kids got arrested because they were going to sacrifice a Passover. And I was like, bro, what's going on? That was a way of putting it. I was like, Because I was like, what the fuck's this? And that was in the state of Israel. And I'm thinking, I'm like, hold on, do you guys like read the scripture? You know how you're meant to keep, I told you, that's why they said we're going to keep the Passover. They had to keep it by sacrificing the red heifer from Texas. That was a big deal. So I'm guessing they made obviously because it's a liberal state, but it's a political state. So there's certain, principalities, things they have to fix, right? By nature. So that's really what it is. That's really what's going on. But I really, and that's the reason why I said, that really just shows you they're not sticking to it. They're not the people, man. But let so-called, us being our kingdom, right? To ourselves, if someone comes and starts sacrificing, and we believe the Lord will uproar us, man. Really, everyone, a whole bag of people would have been sacrificed during this time. And I already showed you they're the people, alright? Then I'm thinking, what they be doing all these other years? They're meant to grow. The whole point, when you go to deal with Moses, what was it? Let us go, let my people go and go into the wilderness and serve them out. You guys are in the land. You're meant to be able to serve your power, right? So then why would you not be following us?
Read it. Romans 12 and 18. If it be possible, be as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men. We're not going to be overright. What we're going to do is, let me finish up with this. So it says, First Maccabees 1 and 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. In the self-same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Right? So he basically made it as to where, look, I want to see them do this. I've made this the status quo, so I want to make sure they're doing it. Sent out overseers and said them city by city. They went down there categorically or systematically to the city, should I say, and made sure they were sacrificed. Then many of the people gathered onto them to wit every one that forsook the law, and so they became evil in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
That's the thing as well, is with being an Israelite, with the customs of people, when you guys into what's Revelation 11, right? We deal with Jake basically being, Jake being put in harmful bondage, being removed, discontinued from the heritage. And what did the heathen do? They celebrate. So they celebrate because these two prophets, they hassled them, man. They basically were like, yo, these guys, we're finally free from these guys. And that's been the relationship between the heathen and Jacob. That's something that's not, peace hasn't been born between them. And then even then, it's only what through basically either, you take on the customs of the heathen, which any Israelite in their right mind, they got no business doing it. But that's why those that join themselves onto the heathen, they're counted as a heathen, which have been the custom. But then now we're basically at the point where that hard line's been drawn. And it's really around Yahweh Shai. So with Yahweh Shai, that's where it's the biggest controversy.
Psalm 94 and 16. Who will rise up? No, I didn't want to do that. I'll read it off. Verse 20. Psalm 94, verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquities have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law?
That's a big framing mischief by law. That's a big part of how you saw function. This guy basically co-signs wickedness. And it basically enforces it within his kingdom. And that's something you saw, back then, during the time of the Greeks, where they were essentially trying to make Israel just become as Greeks, Hellenes, right? But then now you have what? In this modern age, now they're just becoming, citizens, denizens of this, this current kingdom. Chiefly just kind of, inside that culture of, that Western culture. And that's what most people are trying to do. You got heathen out there in boats, swimming. I think you got all kinds of people swimming in boats. Trying to cross the English Channel to get over here, so they can have a chance of the lifestyle they think exists over there. I mean, compare, yeah. It's like what? Well, yeah. That's it.
To us, it's nothing, but to them, there's a lot.
I'm thinking more it's just like the idea of it.
Well, if they get a job and they can make money, they're good. It's the same like with down in America. If anyone can cross that from our mothers, the noble team, if they can cross over that border to go from America, and pesos go far now. And even like with Wembley, the respective islands to where they come from, and you can get that money with dollars, send back that money and build a house. Like, it makes a difference. It's a risk they're prepared to take because they can become a cleaner for like 20 years and they're fine. Their life is set basically. It's true,
Yeah, that's everyone's basically trying to chase that American dream. And that's the thing is, it's like the American dream ain't even a thing anymore. But hey, that's still the hub, man. It's still the main spot. That's where most of the wealth in the world is being concentrated regardless. Even if, as Rob said, it's certain drink. Now it's on its tail end. It was the same thing in Rome, when people were still sitting there thinking, Rome. Funny the Dutch guys. The Dutch just have oil in their down in that back. But then what? That giant that lost them, it's become dim. This is what happened with Israel. This happened with the Babylonians, the Medes, Persians, all these kingdoms that came before and had their time to shine. And now, it's what's on the way out.
That's why they're using their coats.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like swimming, but then when you swim, it's wet.
But you know what? It's funny because I'm looking at turtle dove. That's native to our homeland. Basically, when you deal with the ones that's over here, they have a nice turtle. The ones at home, they look elegant. They look real nice. Like a totally different kind of culture. But it really shows you, what we have is, as humans, the fact that we can, cover ourselves with clothing, might have shown various different kinds of clothing, really says a lot,
No, you can ask. I'm just saying.
So that's sweet. You know when the 10 West Sides happened? Yeah, during the time of before the Babylonians, they went into the Syrian captivity. When you read the Apocrypha, it basically speaks about they went into a land where no man ever dwelt before, but only the Lord of the Heavenly Father. That land was the Americas. Because if you deal with, if you basically read the account, which is describe the account, but basically, I'm sure you're familiar with Solomon, and he had the feats of the Zidonians. You know the Zidonians? Yeah. Basically, they're on the coast of Gaza, on that coast. They basically used to, the Navy. They'll go and bring him back peacocks and gold and different things like that. And they said the journey was 3 years. So it was a year and a half to get there. Now when it speaks about
Second Ezra 13 and 39 says, whereas thou sawest, then ye gathered another piece of the multitude unto you, those of 10 tribes which are carried away prisoner out of their own land in the name of Hosea, the king, Salmanessar, the king of Syria, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. And they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind comes, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood, so they were passed over. But through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region was called Asherah for the Hebrew.
No, Asherah for the Hebrew means another land. That's what I mean. Basically a compoundment of 2 words. It's another after. So basically they went to another land. That's talking about 10 tribes they say is including Dan. Dan is the sign. The Syrians, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher. Now, if you deal with this, that's talking about the Native Americans, those natives of all Central South America, the Caribbean. Yeah, I don't think Indians. Yeah, but the word Indian goes back to the Latin. Yeah, that's why I was. You got that. The original Hebrew. Right? When you deal with people that the Indians, yeah, they're the people that. Yeah, they're the same people, yeah. Because he made wear the French. He made that's a custom. Yeah. There are numbers. The numbers where it says so they see here. Oh no, it's saying the right. Okay, now these are this is the kingdom of Judah. Yeah. So the kingdom of the southern kingdom, Judah's still was there. You have Judah, Benjamin, yeah. But he also has different people in the tribe that stayed in Jerusalem. Yeah. So basically, the real Jews, as it were, will be known as so-called African Americans. Those people like Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, all those kind of people, they're the true Jews according to the Bible. They are. Yeah, so you're familiar with America. Yes. Yeah, and what we can go through the scriptures as to right. Okay. But what are you studying here? Basically, we're here so you're familiar with the Bible. Yeah. So you know that the gospel, what did they do? They went out to the highways and byways. Yeah. Told the truth. Yeah. What you do? Yeah, we're filming. So the people that watch it online, and then individuals like yourself ask questions, but it's really for the like-minded kind of people. People that are, you know, into this type of stuff. But we have to show ourselves before the people that the book of Corinthians says make ourselves full, make ourselves respectful to God. So this is part of our salvation. Because I'm sure you see what's going on in the world right now. What do you make of it? In terms of inflation, world war, disease. I don't think no one's happy. Unless they're on drugs or some kind of, you know, something to pacify everything. Yeah. So yeah, all those things are prophetic events that the Lord spoke of.
And we're out there mainly prophesied about those prophecies.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, World War III.
Well,
that's
it's
something that's
inevitable, technically.
You go to the prophecy, it can't be avoided.
But there's things that have to happen before that happens. Have you heard about microchips? Where they want to start microchipping people?
Oh, I'm sure they're going to do that.
Yeah?
So what they've already done. Trials are running.
And that's the system they want to put in place where basically the government is going to put people choices like those right now. People are really subject to themselves to captivity. You know? It's a spring food right now, you know. Spring. No parts though.
It's been like no wind.
In it? No, I see it, man.
Which is why I was like, it's kind of chill.
That's a proper good quality. How much was that umbrella?
This one? I can't even. Fucking 20-something pound or something. Because it's got like the water resistant like material or whatever. So you can, it's like.
Even like this one, I think it's £10. But I know this one was like £10.
Yeah.
But I wanted to buy another one. I have this before and I left it somewhere. I said I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
The other one's like directly where I should.
Yeah, they.
A little bit of wind is a wrap.
I know.
But I might have to buy a better quality one of these real. It's like a real entry level kind of umbrella.
Realize.
And it's really
I was wondering, like before I remember
yeah, my guy was saying, you know, he inquired about the trans. You know, they are brothers, man. Black and brown. There's more than that, man.
yeah, blind walk. That's the new thing. It's funny because that one includes the northern kingdom as well.
Okay.
And it starts to everyone else. Basically everyone but Esau.
Oh, okay. So that's definitely not
Black indigenous people of color.
Yeah, there'll be Samoans and people like that. Which you have Jacob on them, so they don't have a boat. Jacob. You know? So yeah. But they are people, man. They went through, really, for someone to follow that same path that they did, the Heavenly Father would have to be with them. Like I said, he held still the flood. So he basically gave them away and said, look, I'm going to take you to over to the land. So, prophecy is like this.
Yeah, 'cause I think there's maps you can get from like the currents. And they know they had to hop around Africa,
Even when you're ready, because we were kind of out there, so they came through the pathway and water. So they basically went through, you
know, they're like a sliver of
I don't want to have that conversation with somebody that I don't,
no, like where from?
Now.
Not even now it's not that big. But like, you know, like, that comes from that river. But where, that's what I'm saying, where it's from. You know, where you get it from. They're from the street. And it's down.
Yeah, it's a thing of bravery. You go through and kind of be extra or something.
Yeah. Remember those rolled in as well.
Yeah.
They went through all kinds of places and led into the great, one before even going into America. Right? I always imagine what kind of boats and ships in America when our whole time, what an undertaking was in making that journey. I said, I don't imagine
It's like with the Vikings.
like that might have been
That's to blow someone out.
yeah, like kind of
Yeah. Well, I think the Vikings as well, they had their longboats. Well, it was like with those, they got to the US as well. They got to Greenland. They got to I don't think where was it? There's another island. There's a few islands and mainland. I think it was south where they got to the mainland.
you can look at like boats Darling.
Well, I'd have to look because I'm not familiar with the states are in the US.
Kind of.
You look at, I know where Miami is, I know where New York is.
Yeah. But it's like when I look at something, it's like, oh, I didn't know St. Louis was there.
Yeah.
You know, like looking at you.
It's when I realize, okay, yeah. It's because I don't like well, I just not looking for that. But I know you kind of get understanding like the culture of the US as well, from how it's been spread out.
I've got a real problem. It's all related.
Just think. So 1 Kings 11 and 28, and the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor, and Solomon seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the stars of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah, the Shanahan, found him in the way. He had clad himself with a new garment, and they too were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment of the honest and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take these 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the king of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. And he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. So yeah, you have the separation of the northern and the southern kingdom, and then these guys were going back and forth, agitating one another. But then you had the Assyrians basically take captive the what's it called, the northern kingdom. Then it was after that, that's when they went basically to the Americas. And when you deal with, I can't remember who it was, but there was I remember seeing those some, I've
guy that, I think it was a guy that was my son, talking about how she was, looking at Olmec statues and feeling their heritage. And I was thinking, I was like, imagine you don't even know those Olmecs, that's for the Hamites right over there do in the Jewish colony. As far as your heritage goes back even further than from the land. Esau's got a whole other, he's got his own method of saying they took a land bridge from from Europe or whatever, get over there, they put it closer to like Greenland when it was all frozen, and Esau's got his own shit. He's got, as far as, but when you're dealing with Esau, his system himself is a mythology. That's Esau's mythology. When you deal with this, even this guy was talking about the dinosaurs, talking about ancient humans, talking about 100 million years ago, all those things are mythology. This guy's going to cave paintings, saying there's some cave paintings that are like fucking 100,000 years old. 10 million
I was there with fucking video camera watching it being
fucking
done.
cave painting. I'm like, bro, it's like, but then that's the thing is, that's why it's these people believe in it. It's faith-based as far as in Esau. That's why it's mythology. And that's but then again, with those 10 tribes, they're basically setting themselves up over there. It's also for the sake of profit as well. Because even when they're over there, when Esau came over, it's like the end of Apocalypse, man. When they went out and looked out to the sea, they saw the boats come. And when the boats came, hey, got peace. And that's how fucking. But as far as that's part of Esau's joke was to fuck up Jacob. Got anything?
Alright, man. That's it for this week. As you can see, man, lovely British weather, man. Start of that spring, man. But anyway, well, we're going with it, we'll be out here. Same great, we'll be out. By them, I'll try, by them, I'll talk to them. I want to see apostles and those the radio songs as well. So I want to be elected. So we're going to be out here next week. So long.